it up the floor for questions for our panelists. I'm going to pick you guys out, and Catherine's going to walk around with them. Anybody want to start us off?
Hi. Those were great presentations. Thank you very much. I was just wondering, because you guys have given such a wide variety of sort of perspectives, how do you think with this growing trend of having these after-hours programs, and this can be answered by anyone, how museums, big or small, or art galleries, or any sort of other arts and culture and heritage organization can sort of continue this trend but still remain unique, and if it's just related specifically to the programming of the museum, or if they need to find new ways to make these programs more unique rather than just, okay, this is a new venture that we haven't quite yet tried, let's do this, as it is a growing trend.
In our case, I think it's really important that we pay attention to our community and doing programming that relates to our local community, and then also trying to be as diverse as possible within that community. So we're always seeking, a variety of different types of music, a variety of different types of performers, dancers. We're always trying to diversify that, and I think that helps us stay relevant and fresh every month. I think that's one way to do it.
I think it has to have the personality of your institution, and it has to have the personality of your community. I mean, just throwing some drink into your institution isn't going to cut it. And I think this particular trend is an interesting model, maybe even a bit of a wake-up call for us to change modes of engagement across our audiences. And I think there's a lot of things that we've done a certain way for a long time that, given the success of these, regardless of the scale of the institution or community, I think speaks to a hunger for engagement with culture, but maybe not on the terms that we have engaged them with over the last, been in an institution 40, 50 years. So one thing that I'm thinking about now is school programs. Huge part of our operations as cultural institutions. We know how hard it is to get teachers and students to come for all kinds of reasons, from labor strife to budgets. There's got to be some lessons about customization and relevance and changing people's perceptions about the museum that can inform other areas of our programming too.
Yeah, I really like the point about letting your organization's personality kind of show through. That has to be appropriate to the venue. And if Montgomery's Inn had invited a DJ instead of playing dubstep and Skrillex, like that would not have been, it wouldn't have been appropriate. It would not have been right for the audience. It would have been right for the community. So I think I really agree with that point.
Sorry, I just thought of something. So now we're 2 years into this program, and we're finding that you don't necessarily need to think of something new every single month. People like routine, and people who might have not been able to experience one month, but really wanted to, we can repeat that same experience at a future RMG Friday. So I think that in our planning stages at this point, we're feeling that we're reevaluating that year of programming, year and a half of programming, and now reevaluating how we move forward, what was a success and what wasn't in terms of our eyes.
I'm Enzo from the Markham Museum, and we're just looking at this concept now. But being on the sales side of the museum, I look at numbers and bottom lines. And I heard the gang from RNG say it's free to get in, and you got local bands and imported bands. So where's all the funding coming from to cover these costs? I know if people buy their drink tickets, probably.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can say the number or not. We run our event for $500 an event.
Wow.
That covers the payment for the band, which is an honorarium. Our sound is provided as an in-kind sponsorship. We basically just pay the hourly rate of the sound guy, and he provides us the equipment. We were lucky that we found a sound technician whose mother was on our board of directors. So it helped to have friends. Yeah, and the rest of it covers our special occasion permit and paying our bartender. And some events we break even with our bar sales, donations. We do accept donations at the door. And some events we make money, depending on how many people come out. We've had different opportunities where we have an artist, we pay an artist a small honorarium to do a art making or craft kind of session. And then we have a donation accepted there as well, and that goes back to the gallery. And there have been some that have been quite profitable. But for the most part, we're looking at it as a break-even proposition. And the benefit to the gallery is obviously the increase in awareness that we exist, and other programs that it spills over to increase in memberships, increase in volunteers. And we have seen a pretty significant increase in memberships as a result.
Did you say you charge an admission fee?
We don't. Ours is free to attend.
AGO charge, right?
Yeah, we charge, which it's $20 to get in typically, $10 more or less for First Thursdays. It's slightly incentivized if you're a member or if you buy online, and that strategy is paid off in spades because I'd say 95% of the tickets sold are online, so we've got those emails, which has been great for us to now think about future selling. So we know that this audience aren't typically joiners, so we've had a bigger response from our members than we expected. They have said, well, how come the ROM's free and you're not? So that's a great opportunity for us to think about a social membership or a social add-on to their membership base. So that's an interesting selling opportunity that we haven't seen. And we're trying to figure out what membership might look like for the 20 and 30-something set. Lots of American museums, I don't know enough about Canadian museums that have done that, so that's a new challenge for us. We dreamed of breaking even. We didn't expect to break even, but we are just because the volumes are much, much higher than we expected. And sponsorship is the thing now that's coming. Sponsorship it's people calling us booze sponsors are huge because then you can sell the booze and get the booze, right? Or you get the booze and sell the booze. Not in full. You'll learn about this if you do this event. You'll learn all about licensing, things you never ever want to know ever. But sponsors and corporations want to be aligned with that kind of vibe for giveaways and all kinds of bonusing for your clientele, which is distinct but related to their clientele. Anyway, there's great selling opportunities in and around these events, if not just the cash for food or cash for entry opportunities, which are fairly limited.
Yeah, like we're seeing increased sales in our gift shop on that night of that we're open. It's in a whole. There's many different opportunities and places to spend money at the gallery. We're just not asking you to spend it when you walk in.
I have a comment and a question. My comment is that my comment is that one very successful. It's not exactly a First Thursday or a First Friday. It is often an evening event in a historic house. Is at Campbell House Museum in downtown Toronto, where they have been doing Winterlicious, and Winterlicious is often combined with performing arts with theater and lots of theater, and in fact they've had a play written for Campbell House by a playwright, a Canadian playwright, which is now traveling to Prince Edward County. So that's really exciting. And it's a downtown event. It is a downtown venue. I don't know who their audience is yet. I'm going to find out. But the other thing, the question that I actually had was for Kelly. And I went to I've only been to one First Thursday. And that was the Frida and Diego, for the Frida and Diego show. And it was very exciting. It was really great. I was totally impressed by the vibe. The people were coming to party. They really were. And people were drawing a lot of the stuff that was in the show. I sat and watched people drawing in the little, there's a little kind of place where you could just sit and draw. I don't know what you call it. But the one thing that sort of interested me was that I saw a lot of young women, but I didn't see a lot of young men. Do you want to comment about that? Has that changed at all?
We tend to skew 60-40, 60 female, 40 male. Our hunch is that it's pretty much about the same for First Thursdays. More men than we expected. We're just now surveying the people who came in the first 6 months to find out what the gender balance is, exactly the age, and how long has it been since they've come, and what is the likelihood of them coming back. So I can't report the exact number, but our hunch is that it does skew slightly female. They come in little gaggles.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Kelly, does that statistic, is that the same for your general membership, that you have more female?
Absolutely. That's our general skew. Membership and general admission, paid admission, tends to skew 60-40.
Okay, so on Thursday nights, you go down there. I'm actually a member of the AGO, and I don't know about this. I don't know why. Does that, is the gallery open, the whole gallery open, or only that specific event?
Yeah, we started off thinking that we would just open up certain areas. This was a fairly anxiety-causing kind of initiative for us as a big institution and unglazed artwork. You can imagine, I can see lots of nods, whether you're a historic house or an art museum or a bones and stones museum. These cause nervousness, people with drinking. So we contained it, we cordoned off some of the more vulnerable areas, but we just found people wanted to be in there, and people were way less sloppy and way more respectful of what we were inviting them to do than we ever imagined, so we just blew the whole thing open. Also, too, we thought that we needed to contain it to try and create a sense of the vibe, that we thought if they dispersed around 110 galleries, it would feel like a party that nobody came to. So we artificially contained it, but we found that people were kind of hanging out at the stanchions, kind of wanting to go, so we've blown it open now, and people find themselves all over. You can go anywhere in the museum, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so the general music, just to buy a one-time admission is $20, you say?
Yeah, if you're a person off the street, it's $19.50 to come to the AGO. If you want to go to the special exhibition, it's $25. So if you're a member and if you're a person off the street and you buy online, it's $10, and you can add on $10 to see the special exhibition.
Okay, fine.
2 more questions and then we're going to wrap it up.
This question for Kelly from the AGO. I'm wondering what kind of ongoing engagement work you hope to do with the email list that you're generating, and how you want to engage that audience moving forward.
It's a really good question. We are in a massive list conversation at the AGO as we talk about customer relationship management more and more and more, and the notion of who owns the customer at the AGO, right, and who is managing the exchange with those people. So we're right now aligning that list, who are a non-member list for the most part, with our members list, and basically programming, thinking about the lists as a program unto themselves. And what is the program of invitation, selling, and communication that is appropriate for those segments of the list? This is a whole new thing for us. But as we get smarter about how we use our lists, our attendance and our sales are showing immediate impacts. So for example, just a quick small example is in our adult classes, for example, which we were struggling to hit our targets on, we have now virtually stopped all paid advertising, and we're using our lists almost exclusively and have in the last 3 terms hit our targets. So lists, I think, is the new frontier for engagement, but also sales in the broadest sense.